Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video. Hope you guys are doing well today. In this video, we're talking about all of the tanks, and we're going to rate them from easiest to hardest based on Mythic Plus. Now, this video can help with you trying to decide if you want to get into tanking, which tanks you maybe want to have a look at or want to avoid to start off with. Maybe help you with your tank choices in the LFG queue, all that good stuff. So, let's get into it. The first one we're going to look at is Guardian Druid. Now, Guardian Druid has a lot of intricacies and a lot of things you can min-max through affinities. You can go Resto Affinity, help your healers out. You can go Boomkin or Balance Affinity, do some damage with Convoke, and do kind of Owl Weaving. But just playing Guardian Druid at its purest, rawest form, you have... Rawest form? Pun? You have so much that you can do by a very simple rotation. Thrash does a lot of your active mitigation for you through the legendary and through the rage it generates on trash to get Iron Fur. Frenzied Regen is a very, very good mechanic for kind of a mistake mechanic if you are ever in trouble. Frenzied Regen increases your healing. You do healing yourself. It just tops you off pretty much, and it's really, really nice to carry yourself back. And there's a lot you can use on Guardian Druid just to get yourself back into a good standpoint. They're also probably one of the highest physical mitigating tanks, which I've talked about before, which means you very rarely have to kite. Kiting is something I'm going to talk about later in this video, but while it doesn't necessarily make tanking harder, it changes tanking. Ultimately, Guardian Druid is the very typical at the moment. I'm going to go and stand in front of 20 mobs and I'm going to hit them with everything I have, and we're probably going to kill them. That's pretty nice. So the second one we're going to talk about is Prot Pally. Prot Pally has a lot, again, you can do with it. You can actually group heal a lot of the damage if you're min-maxing Word of Glory. So as you can see in the background, I was playing my Prot Pally. And Word of Glory proc is up all of the time. I don't really use it that often. And that's not because... it's just because I'm not a very good Prot Pally. Now, I'm not a very good Prot Pally by my own admissions. I'm not min-maxing my interrupts on my Avenger Shield. I'm not using my cooldowns efficiently. I'm not very well geared. All of this stuff, and I'm still tanking a 12 while I was recording, while I was worrying about other things. I hadn't played the game in 2 weeks. I was very rusty. All of this combined, I'm still tanking this with relative ease. And I'm fine, it's only a 12, but you understand what I'm saying. I'm only 204 eye level, I think. Ultimately, Prot Pally does a lot very simply. Your mitigation is part of Shield of the Righteous. You're going to have that up almost all of the time with any level of haste. Or certainly, sort of, as you get to like the 15-20% haste marks, you're certainly going to have it up a lot anyway. But you go through all this good stuff. The only thing I will say about Prot Pally is unless you've got your Avenger's Shield or Divine Toll at the start of a pack, you don't have much to grab aggro. So that's one of the things that, especially if you are new to tanking, you do need to be just aware if someone goes in and starts throwing 20-30k DPS at a pack early on, you may struggle to keep aggro on them without something like Divine Toll or the DPS Legendary. But all in all, I think Prot Pally is safely second on this list. Now, third one, some people may disagree with me here, and again, if you do disagree, please leave your comments down below. I'm always interested, and I do try to reply to all of them. And we can have a good discussion about it, and I might learn something, you might learn something. Ultimately, it could be an interesting experience. So my third one is Vengeance Demon Hunter. Now, Vengeance Demon Hunter at the moment is not only one of the strongest tanks, making it already, it's very set in the meta because it's a good tank. That in itself, just being a strong class, makes it easier, ultimately. The issue with Vengeance Demon Hunter is that you do need to learn how to kite at times. Ultimately, there will be times where you have no active mitigation, where you have no defensive. And you do need to be wary that at those times, you need to have enough threat and enough awareness to know what's coming next. So while I've put Vengeance Demon Hunter third, I've actually put it third because I think it's better than the options below it. Not because I think it competes with the options above it, if that makes sense. I still think Prot Pally and Guardian Druid are much the easier tanks. The issue with Vengeance Demon Hunter is you have Demon Spikes and Metamorphosis and Fiery Brand. Now, Fiery Brand build does keep you kind of an active cooldown every now and again. But I've known so many new Vengeance Demon Hunters that have spammed Divine Spikes as soon as they get into a pack They then run out and they are so squishy. Whereas you look at things like the MDI tanks, they typically don't tank unless they have a metamorphosis up. And that's just the difference there, is they can do bigger pulls but know that they're going to have meta for it, as opposed to the regular tanks, which needs to have something for every pack. Guardian Druid does with Barkskin, with Iron Furs, Prot Pally does with Shield of the Righteous, and just generally being quite tanky and having self-healing. Vengeance Demon Hunter is the first one that kind of doesn't have that. Which leads me into my fourth choice, Brewmaster Monk. Brewmaster's interesting because it does a fair bit of damage. I've seen them pump some numbers. I've seen them and played them personally, and you mitigate so much damage. I would actually say, as far as I know, they're the highest physical damage mitigating tank. That includes Prot Warrior, even after the reprisal stuff, because of your stagger. You just don't take as much damage as any other tank if you play even remotely correctly. The issue is, you're very healer reliant. If you have a weak healer and you get behind and you're having to try and deal with life and Mythic Plus by yourself, you may struggle. They have very little room to solo something. They are very group reliant. And as such, I think they're going to come lower on my list, because a good Guardian Druid, or even an average Guardian Druid, can kind of semi-carry a Mythic Plus run. Prot Pally is somewhat similar. Brewmaster, I think you have to be a very good Brewmaster to carry to the same level. Fifth, we're going to talk about... Now, this is something that I've really had to think about between 5 and 6. Now, we've got 2 tanks left. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what we've got left, but I was really debating these two, and there was a comment the other day, I haven't got the guy's name unfortunately, but there was a comment the other day that someone's saying that, yeah, Prot Warrior is fine, but Blood Decay's in a really bad spot. And it swayed my decision a little bit. I've done a little bit of testing on my Prot Pally, on my Prot Warrior, on my Blood Decay, and I've asked the questions and gone, which one is best? I'm going to go with Prot Warrior. Now, Prot Warrior has some of the... I still think, in terms of skill cap, they are potentially the harder tank. So why have I put them 5th and not 6th? Well, first of all, you have a lot to focus on with a Prot Warrior. But if you can get the mechanics of the spec down, especially with Reprisal, about keeping your charge on cooldown, keeping your intervene on cooldown, using your shockwave as often as you can, using your covenant abilities a lot, things like that, then potentially there isn't too much to worry about elsewhere. If you can get the Prot Warrior mechanics to be second nature. For me, they don't work like that. Prot Warrior for me is harder than Blood Decay. Now let's talk about Blood Decay as well. I'm going to talk about both a little bit here. Blood Decay is interesting because healers hate Blood Decays, especially at the moment, but they're actually very easy to heal. They work around runic power, and as long as they have high runic power, they have enough to keep themselves alive, and they pretty much need to self-manage. However, they ever get into a situation where they're low health, they have no runic power, they have very few cooldowns, and they are so weak. So I'm testing a Blood Decay at the moment with the Crimson Rune Weapon Legendary, and honestly, it's been fantastic. I've really enjoyed it, and I've not really had all too many issues. Again, it's only very low keys at the moment and things like that, but it's not actually even me tanking, it's actually someone else. But we're testing it as part of a group, and there's been very little issues, really. And actually, compared to my Prot Warrior, I did a lot more damage, but I also took more damage, and felt riskier as a Prot Warrior than I do as a Blood Decay. Blood Decays are interesting though, because if you can play them very well, they have an AoE grip, they have a single target grip, they have, I believe it's still a ranged interrupt, they have all these different utilities that do fit really well into Mythic Plus. So I do still think that Blood Decays are ultimately going to jump up this list and be easier tanks later on, but at the moment, because people are so squishy, because we're in the first tier of the expansion, I think Blood Decay is probably the hardest one to get a lot of things out of and a lot of benefit out of in a group. So I hope this video has been interesting. I am interested to see if you agree. If you don't, again, please let me know. I've tried to base this on a couple of different factors. What does it bring to a group? How hard is it to play? And yeah, just how complex is it to really get kind of 80% out? Because there's no way you're going to log on to a Blood Decay and be the best in the world. So you're going to be performing at maybe 80, 90%. How hard is it to get 90% out of a Blood Decay compared to a Guardian Druid? Well, leaps and bounds. A Guardian Druid, as long as you have Thrashbound on 15 different keys, you've got mitigation. Blood Decay, if you get behind and you're not prepared, you can really go downhill quick. So yeah, it is quite interesting, but let me know what you guys think. There's going to be more videos coming out soon. Yeah, thanks for watching, and catch you later. Goodbye, guys.